Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Before we get into today's topic, I would like to ask you to help me out in spreading the No Days Off movement. If you've been listening to this podcast for some time, if you're part of the No Days Off Nation and you're getting some value out of all that we've discussed here over the past year or so, I would really appreciate if you'd help me continue to spread the word. Growing this movement, getting people focused on getting a little bit better, be it a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. Getting them a little bit better is the mission here at No Days Off. And I would love for you to support us in that mission. So if there's a good episode or episodes that you like, or maybe it's even today's episode, if you can go and share those with your friends, your peers, your coworkers, whoever it may be, it would help us grow this movement. On that note, let's get into today's topic. Today, I want to talk about kindness. And I want to do so by discussing an actual study that was done on rabbits, of all things, a study on rabbits where kindness came about and what we can learn from this study. So there's this effect. It's known as the rabbit effect. A book was actually written about it. And here's how it starts, or how the story goes. There was an experiment, a science experiment in the late 70s. I think it was 1978, where scientists were testing the heart health of two separate groups of rabbits. Now, both of these groups were given unhealthy, high-fat diets, basically the same foods. But despite receiving the exact same heart-clogging foods, one group of rabbits was actually doing substantially better in terms of health than the other group. Scientists were really confused. The scientists that were conducting this study didn't know what was going on. I mean, we're feeding these rabbits pretty much the exact same food, this high-fat diet. We're feeding them in the same time. They're both in the same, lab or experiment. And they couldn't figure out what was going on that was driving one group to be quite a bit healthier than the other group. Then one day they noticed something different in the group that was healthier. What they noticed was there was a postdoctorate student who was in charge of one of the groups. It just happened to be the healthier group. And what they noticed was that she was showing those rabbits a lot more attention than what the other group was getting. So again, you have two distinct groups, both being fed at the same time, the same amount of foods. But in this one group, the doctorate student running that particular group was paying attention to the rabbits in a different way. She was picking them up. She was talking to them. She was petting them. She was spending time with them. Now, the experiment was trying to solve the riddles of heart health. But what it actually stumbled upon was a major piece of the wellness puzzle. And that is that kindness matters. See, what they found with this experiment was, again, everything was pretty much being done the same with respect to food. But because she was petting and paying attention to, spending time with her group, they ended up being quite a bit healthier. I think 60% healthier than the other group. Now, this study caught the attention of a psychiatrist named Kelly Harding, Dr. Kelly Harding out of Columbia. She ended up writing a book called The Rabbit Effect. And I think it came out in 2018 or 2019. She went into this topic of kindness, or its effect on the mind and the body. And she came away with some interesting findings. She said the hug you give your child or the hug you give your spouse when you walk out the door makes a difference. And not only with them. It's this really exciting science that I won't get into that she found that shows that loving actions actually change our physiology. And she believes that's what, in fact, happened with the rabbits. Kindness matters. Not only does kindness matter with respect to, the health of rabbits, but she found that kindness can also affect aging. There was another study done, an expanded kindness research study, that found that not only do loving acts of kindness, not only are they good for your health, they actually slow the rate of aging. Cellular aging is often, determined by the length of your telomeres, right? I don't want to get too far into the science here. And kindness has a direct impact on the length of these telomeres. These are located on the tip of your chromosomes. Many compare these telomeres to the plastic tips of like shoelaces, protecting your chromosomes from unraveling. Age and chronic stress cause these telomeres to wear down. What the study found, though, was that different forms of meditation had an effect on the breakdown of these telomeres, and different levels of physiological experience had an impact on these telomeres. So when the researchers assigned 176 study participants in 3 different groups, one group was a mindful meditation group, another was a loving kindness meditation group, and another was just a waitlist control group. After 6 weeks, the average telomere length naturally decreased in all 3 groups. However, the rate of deterioration was slowest in the loving kindness meditation group. So what was found was that loving kindness meditation in this experiment, the involvement of really transferring positive energy from yourself to others, was incredibly impactful and had the greatest impact in slowing of the aging process. So one could conclude that the secret to success and to aging, with so much strife and bitterness and hostility in today's world, we could all maybe turn to kindness in our lives. Doing a kind deed, makes a huge impact on both parties, on you and the recipient. And let's also face it, it feels good, right, for everybody involved. So in conclusion, right, you've got these studies that are flat out telling you that kindness matters. I know we all kind of probably think that. We know that life is just happier when we are kind. Goes without saying. But now there's actual science behind this that says you are healthier, you will live longer, right? You will have more success when you go through life in a kind way. Spreading kindness is also receiving that kindness. So the focusing question for everybody today, knowing what we now know, what can you in fact do today to increase the kindness you're delivering to others, and also, be the kind of person that deserves kindness coming back your way? The science is telling us that we will be happier, we will live longer, we will be healthier. So we might as well take advantage of that. In the spirit of no days off, what can you do today to be a slight bit kinder to others and also be the type of person that should receive that kindness in return? That's all I have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.